In the sweltering heat of Nigeria's tropical nights, where the air is thick with the scent of jasmine and impending rain, there exists a legend that has haunted the corridors of boarding schools for generations. It's a tale not of distant spirits or ancient gods, but of a woman scorned, a teacher turned tormentor whose vengeful soul refuses to rest. They call her Miss Koi Koi, Madame Koi Koi to some, Lady Koi Koi to others, a name derived from the chilling sound of her red high-heeled shoes echoing through empty hallways. Koi, Koi, Koi. This is no mere bedtime story, it's a cultural phenomenon, a psychological specter that has terrified students, inspired filmmakers and sparked debates among folklorists. In this cinematic exploration, we journey into the heart of the legend, unraveling its origins, examining its variations across Africa, delving into spine-tingling eyewitness accounts, and probing the deeper cultural and psychological implications. Is Miss Koi Koi a ghost born of tragedy, a metaphor for authority's dark side, or a collective hallucination fueled by the isolation of boarding life? Join us as we peel back the layers of this enigmatic myth, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, and one wrong step could summon her presence. Boarding schools in Nigeria are more than educational institutions, they are microcosms of society, where young minds from diverse ethnic backgrounds, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and beyond, are forged in the crucible of discipline and unity. Established in the post-independence era of the 1960s, these federal unity schools were designed to foster national identity, bringing children from rural villages and urban centers together under one roof. Picture the scene: vast campuses with red brick dormitories, long hallways lined with lockers, and communal bathrooms where whispers carry like wine through palm fronds. By day they buzz with the energy of lessons, sports, and friendships. By night, they transform into labyrinths of shadow, where the creak of a floorboard or the drip of a faucet can ignite the imagination. It is in this liminal space, between wakefulness and sleep, safety and danger, that Miss Koi Koi thrives. Her legend serves as a cautionary tale, enforcing the unwritten rules of boarding life. Stay in bed after lights out, don't wander the halls, and above all, respect authority. But to truly grasp her power, we must trace her back to her alleged beginnings, a story steeped in cruelty, injustice, and the supernatural. The origins of Miss Koi Koi are shrouded in the mists of oral tradition, with no single definitive account. However, the most prevalent narrative places her in the golden age of Nigeria's unity schools, sometime in the late 1960s or early 1970s. She was a teacher, beautiful, elegant, and impeccably dressed. Her name in life is lost to time, but her style is legendary: flowing skirts that swished with authority, blouses that accentuated her poise, and those infamous red high-heeled shoes, imported perhaps from Europe or crafted by local artisans, their click echoing like a metronome of dread. Students admired her beauty but feared her temper. She was a disciplinarian par excellence, enforcing rules with an iron fist. Late for class? A lash from her cane. Talking out of turn? A slap that rang through the room. Her punishments were not just physical, they were psychological, designed to humiliate and break spirits. But beauty and authority often masked deeper flaws. Miss Koi Koi's cruelty knew no bounds. She took sadistic pleasure in her power, targeting the vulnerable, the new students, the quiet ones, those from poor families who couldn't complain. In one telling, she favored corporal punishment, using her heels as improvised weapons to stomp on toes or kick shins. Her classroom was a realm of terror, where learning came second to survival. The turning point came with an incident that sealed her fate. A young girl, perhaps 12 years old, whispered to a friend during assembly. Miss Koi Koi, spotting the infraction, dragged her to the front and delivered a slap so forceful it ruptured the child's eardrum. Blood trickled from the girl's ear and she screamed in agony. The injury was permanent, leaving the child partially deaf. Word spread like wildfire through the school, igniting outrage among students, parents, and even fellow teachers. The administration, under pressure from the Parent-Teacher Association, a powerful force in these schools, launched an investigation. In those days, PTAs wielded significant influence, often clashing with school heads over discipline and resources. Miss Koi Koi was summoned to the principal's office, where she defended her actions with arrogance, claiming the girl deserved it for disrespect. But the evidence was damning: witnesses, medical reports, and the child's tearful testimony. She was fired on the spot, her teaching career shattered in an instant. Humiliated and furious, she gathered her belongings, her red heels clicking defiantly as she marched out. Legend says she cursed the school under her breath, vowing that no child would ever find peace in its halls. What happened next varies by region and teller, but tragedy is constant. In the Nigerian heartland, she boarded a bus home, her mind seething with rage. A sudden storm slicked the roads and the vehicle skidded into a ditch, killing several passengers, including her. As she lay dying amid the wreckage, she whispered a final oath. "I will return. I will teach them all a lesson they won't forget." In a more vengeful variant from the eastern states, the students, emboldened by her dismissal, ambushed her that night as she left. They beat her mercilessly using sticks, stones and ironically, one of her own red heels as the fatal weapon. They buried her body in a shallow grave on school grounds, her spirit trapped in eternal unrest. Ghanaian versions add a poignant twist. Madame Moke was pregnant, unknown to her attackers. Locked in a storage room by the students, she gave birth alone and died from complications, her cries echoing into the night. The child perished with her, doubling the curse, now a maternal ghost seeking lost innocence. These origins aren't just backstory, they're reflections of societal issues. In post-colonial Nigeria, teachers represented authority, often wielding power unchecked. The legend critiques this, turning the oppressor into the oppressed. Folklorists like Bridget Burke note that such stories empower the powerless, students reclaiming agency through narrative. As the schools expanded in the 1970s, the legend spread via transfers and holidays, mutating to fit local fears. In Yoruba areas, she's infused with witchcraft, her red shoes symbolizing ritual blood. Among the Igbo, she's an Ogbanj, a mischievous spirit child reborn to torment. Hausa versions tie her to jinn, invisible entities that punish the disobedient. By the 1980s, she had crossed borders, becoming Madame Moke in Ghana, where Moke evokes the heel's sound, and Miss Kankoko in Tanzania with a knocking twist. If Miss Koi Koi were mere folklore, she might fade like forgotten lessons. But her legend endures through alleged encounters, stories so vivid, so consistent, they blur the line between myth and memory. These aren't distant tales, they're personal, recounted by thousands who claim to have heard, seen, or felt her presence. Let's explore some of the most compelling accounts, drawn from forums, books, and oral histories. One of the earliest documented sightings comes from the 1970s at Federal Government College, Ikoyi, Lagos. A former student, now a banker in Abuja, shared his story in a 2018 interview with Nigerian folklore researcher David Oman. It was a humid night in 1974. The boy, 13 at the time, needed the bathroom. Ignoring warnings from seniors, "Don't go out after 10 p.m. or Miss Koi Koi will get you," he slipped into the hallway. The school was silent, save for crickets. Then from the far end came the sound, "Koi," growing louder, rhythmic, deliberate. He froze as a figure emerged from the shadows. A tall woman in a red dress, one shoe missing, her face pale and twisted in anger. Her eyes, black as night, locked onto him. She whispered, "Why are you out of bed, child? Come here." Terror-stricken, he ran back but felt a cold hand slap his back. The next morning, bruises marked his skin in the shape of fingers. He never ventured out at night again, and the incident spread, solidifying the legend at the school. Similar experiences proliferate. In Enugu's Queen's School during the 1980s, a group of girls held a forbidden midnight gossip session. Laughter turned to panic as the clicking approached. Peeking through the door crack, they saw her, Miss Koi Koi, her red heel glinting under moonlight, mouth open as if calling. One girl, brave or foolish, shouted, "Go away!" A gust of wind slammed the door, and the girl fell ill with fever, her ear throbbing as if slapped. Doctors found no cause, but she recovered only after a traditional cleansing ritual. This account, detailed in Jason Offutt's Darkness Walks, highlights a pattern: physical ailments following encounters, often targeting the ears, a nod to the ruptured eardrum origin. Ghanaian variants add cultural flavor. At Achimota School in Accra, a 1995 incident involved Madame Moke appearing in the bathroom. A boy washing up heard knocking, "Moke? Moke?" and saw a pregnant woman in the mirror, her belly swollen, eyes pleading. He fled but woke with scratches on his arms. The story, shared in local newspapers, warned against late-night toilet visits. In Tanzania, Miss Kankoko knocks on dormitory doors demanding entry. Those who answer vanish, their beds found empty. These aren't just anecdotes, they're backed by evidence. In 2010, leaked security footage from a Abuja school showed doors creaking open at 2 a.m., with audio capturing faint clicking. No wind or intruders were found. Online forums like Naraland and Reddit's r/Nigeria brim with personal stories. A 2019 post described a student in Port Harcourt hearing Koi Koi during exam prep, followed by nightmares of a woman chasing him. Psychics and pastors have exorcised schools, with rituals involving salt and prayers to banish her. The psychological toll is profound. Many victims report lasting anxiety, insomnia, and phobias of high heels or dark halls. In a 2022 study by the University of Lagos, 70% of boarding alumni believed in Miss Koi Koi, attributing it to collective trauma from strict schooling. What fuels Miss Koi Koi's endurance? Theories abound, from supernatural to scientific. Supernaturally, she's a restless spirit, an Onryo-like figure in Japanese terms, or a Yoruba Iwan ghost. Her curse stems from unresolved grievances, her red shoes a symbol of unfulfilled life. Traditional healers say she's trapped by her death's violence, seeking release through terror. Psychologically, she's a manifestation of boarding school stress. Dr. Amina Bello explains, isolation, homesickness, and authority figures create fertile ground for hallucinations. The legend is a coping mechanism externalizing fears. Mass hysteria explains group encounters. Suggestibility turns sounds into heals. Culturally, she enforces norms. In patriarchal societies, she critiques female authority gone wrong, or warns against rebellion. As schools modernize, her story evolves, appearing in digital forms, apps, VR experiences. Her impact is vast. Netflix's 2023 series The Origin, Madame Koi Koi reimagined her as a rape victim, sparking discussions on gender violence. Books like Fei Fei use her for moral lessons. She's a cultural bond uniting Africans in shared fear. Miss Koi Koi endures because she mirrors our fears. Whether ghost or myth, she reminds us, some lessons are eternal. Stay curious, stay in bed.